I know there's like anybody measures, I don't know. I know the names, like one of those I hate these, I don't know what it was. So,
So true. Well, what sucks?
That's great.
Check out.
I don't like them kids.
Yeah.
I call this meeting to order the legislative body at 3:15 p.m. Our first order of business on the agenda is roll call. President Palumbo.
Here.
Chief of Staff Bracy is not here. Do we have an excuse for Chief of Staff Bracy? Okay, they are on their way, but for the time being, they are excused. Treasurer Carter.
Here.
Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Chair Broyard.
Here.
Communications Director Bobo.
Here.
Recording Secretary Foxell. Here. Graphic Design Coordinator Fazal. Do we have an excuse for Graphic Design Coordinator Fazal? We do not have an excuse. Then we move on. President Pro Tem Board Graysinger is not here. They have a doctor's appointment, and they are excused. Senator Tudor is on his way back to Pittsburgh, so they are excused. Senator Mahat. Do we have an excuse for Senator Mahat? Senator Woodyard. Senator Harris. Senator Brown has coursework with an exam they have to attend to, so they are excused. Senator Rangel. Senator Peterson is helping a friend in need after a car accident, so they are obviously excused. Senator McLaughlin. Senator McHugh. Do we have an excuse for Senator McHugh? For the time being, we do not have anything, but if something comes up, we will address that. Senator Atkins has an exam, they are excused. Senator Williams.
Here.
And Senator Fontero. Alright, we will now move to our the approval of the minutes. Unfortunately, Recording Secretary Foxell as well as myself were in Ohio over the weekend, so the minutes were not able to be formatted this week. Those will be formatted and sent out at a later time. So we'll move to the approval of the agenda. The agenda was sent out with meeting materials this yesterday. Is there any corrections that need to be made to the agenda? If there are no corrections that need to be made to the agenda is approved. We will now move to Senate appointment. I do not see the appointee here, but I will yield the floor to President Palumbo to explain.
Yeah, this was, as I sent the email last week, this is a little weird of an appointment, but we talked it over and Elliot Geary wanted to join from CAB. However, they said they had an emergency meeting pop up, and I said we have to be here at least if I'm going to appoint you. So I'm just going to dismiss this appointment, and we're just going to move on. It's unfortunate, I guess, but I mean, at the same time, it is what it is. It's not too big of a deal. Our elections just happened, so we're going to be getting an influx of new senators there. So well, I'm just going to dismiss this appointment.
Alright, so President Palumbo has withdrawn his appointment to the Senate, so that will not be voted on today. So we will move on to our first open floor. Does anyone have anything for our first open floor? If no one has anything for our first open floor, we will move to reports of the executive cabinet. President Palumbo, do you have anything to report?
I do. I hope everyone had a good spring break. We went, 7 of us went on the Ohio Student Government Summit this past weekend. It was a lot of fun, and I kind of want to yield the floor to a couple people who are here pretty soon. But yeah, we met with roughly like 7 to 10 of the student governments from around the region. Kent State was there, Penn State Barron, Bowling Green was there. We were in Akron. And for some reason, I don't know why, everyone from Akron was just like, where's Pittsburgh? Where's Pittsburgh? And I'm like, really? We're really not that far. So, yeah, we gained a lot of really cool information, and I think a lot of the senators enjoyed it. Thanks to Dean Palo and the Student Affairs who helped pay for the trip. We stayed in a hotel, and it was a 2-day trip for the whole weekend. So it was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys gained a lot of experience and understanding how other student governments work compared to ours. Bigger schools, smaller schools, and schools that are the same size as us. And hopefully, I think it was pretty successful. We can do it again next year if everyone wants to do it for next year. And something I was thinking actually, since there's a lot of schools even in the Pittsburgh area, is to maybe even host something like that here in the future. Have Pitt, Kane, Carlo all coming together in a venue like at Point Park and trying to collaborate that way and bring potentially new students here and more opportunities at Point Park. So yeah, that was really great, and I'm happy for that. As for other things, we're going to put out our Adobe survey very, very soon. It's going to be specifically towards the students who are using it for their classes, so communications, everyone in the communications major in school, and that area. As for that, the election is just finished up. We had 20 people apply, so that's very exciting, and we'll be putting that information out very soon. And also, since we have that number, which is, I think is pretty good. I mean, I would have wanted more, obviously, but 20 is pretty solid, especially with going into the fall. So if we're starting strong with that number, and also we have fall elections with more freshmen coming in and potentially other people, I'm pretty excited and for what SGA is going to be for next year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be strong, and yeah. I kind of want to give the floor to Matt or Drew, who were there, if you want to speak about your time at the summit.
Drew, would you like to, Sarah, would you like to speak first on that? You did choose to.
Yeah, I'd say that the trip as a whole was really engaging, really fun. Lots of interesting activities, lots of really group-oriented, like bonding activities and networking opportunities. It was really interesting and fun. Really. I'll definitely go next year.
Thank you, Senator Williams. So, of course, Secretary Foxall, would you like to speak as well?
Sure. I think it was very insightful, event. It was very cool to network with other SGAs and see how they function, and see how they communicate with their administrations. I think there's a lot of information that can be used to help SGA in the future on that.
Thank you, Secretary Foxall. As for my report, I too attended the Ohio Student Government Summit, as the T-shirt would indicate. So it was a very good event. We learned a lot about other student governments, how they function, how they operate, what their presence is on campus, and we took a lot away from it. We took a lot away from it as well as how to be professional as individuals, outside of student government and within student government. So overall, it was a very successful trip. As for the Adobe survey, that is still in the works. I formulated some questions over spring break, and I will put them into a formal survey in the coming weeks. As for our spring elections, the application for election candidacy board has officially closed. We have multiple candidates running for all positions, and it seems like we're going to have a very good and very competitive election cycle this year, and that's all I have for my report. Chief of Staff Tracy.
That being said, now that everything has closed, my candidates look in your email. There'll be a keynote coming pretty soon. Congratulations, exciting times. That being said, we'll be working closely now with you guys regarding the live debate and the recorded debate. We'll finalize dates and times with you guys to make sure everybody is available to be there. That's pretty important. I'm not gonna lie, I did not work on any PCT things at all last week and a half. I'm lucky I even slept, but being honest. I will get back to you on that. I'm seeing you're doing well. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Chief Staff Gracie. Parliamentarian Adams.
Hey everybody, hope you all had a wonderful break, a very restful break. You needed that week to rest when you could. As for today, we have a constitution to vote on of the persons for change. We'll get to that during new business.
Thank you. Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Chair, Royar.
Friday is multicultural festival, 4 to 8. Setup was like 2:30-ish, 3. I have my car downtown, so I'm gonna be driving around picking up food. If I can get like some volunteers to help set up, we'll be the best people in the world. And I can talk about that more with like whoever's interested in helping, just like message me. That's it, yeah.
Thank you. Current Secretary Foxall.
Something that we were at, Ohio State and some weekends, so I think that's around before that, the last meeting for minutes, but I will get that out shortly.
Thank you. Treasurer Carter.
Spring 2 funding will be voted on in a mere matter of minutes. And let me tell you, this was the craziest one yet. So, buckle up.
Thank you. Communications Director Bola.
Just come to our meeting today. Sure, you can come either.
Thank you. Graphic Design Coordinator Fazell is not here today. Did they provide a report? I do not think they provided a report. So we move on. President Pro Tem Board Basinger, did they provide a report? All right. With that, we will move to our guest speaker, Dean Halo. The floor is yours.
How's everybody?
Good.
I'm good. Like others, I hope that you all had a great spring break. My son is on spring break right now. I haven't seen much of him because he's sleeping most of the time. But I hope you all had a good spring break, and I hope you all enjoyed it. It sounds like the conference was a good one, so it was well worth the investment. So I say let's make it a tradition, and then if it's not this one, we find someone somewhere, with the exception of like Hawaii or the Virgin Islands or somewhere, and we'll get you there. Because I think that it's valuable for you all as a leadership group to, just as someone, folks have been mentioning, to see how others lead. I just said it this afternoon, the highest form of flattery is imitation. So I'm sure what you're sharing with others, and they steal from you, and steal is a word in the sense of, that they're taking great ideas that you have, with the same thing that you have heard over, this conference. Hey, why don't we do that? Why can't we do that? That's a great idea, kind of idea. So that's what conferences are all about. I have to admit, I don't do enough of them, and that's my own fault in a sense, but the ones that I can attend, I come back and you have this energy about you. So let's continue to do that, please. And I will find the money each and every year so that you don't take it out of your coffers, in a sense that I'll pay for that. So keep that in mind, please. All right, so the reason I'm here today, throughout the day, it's not as though you're last, it's just your meeting is at 3:15, and that's why I'm over here. In a sense, I'm introducing to you all some exciting news, and this is exciting news. Is that the university is partnering again with their contracted vendor, Barnes & Noble, to launch next year, starting in the fall, what is called the Bison Bundle. So the Bison Bundle is a book service for you all. Many colleges and universities already do this. I was approached several years ago to do this, and it so happens that this is the perfect time to do it. Now, what is this? First of all, I will say that it is going to make, this is first the parameters, it is to start traditional, full-time, on-ground students. Just almost like the UPass program. Same exact group of students are going to have this opportunity. So when you register for classes, Barnes & Noble will bundle all the books that you need, and they will supply them to you. You can pick them up, you can have them delivered, So you can do that. It includes electronic books and physical books. Now, again, this is where you gotta listen so that when you hear it, I don't want you prejudging. There's a fee that's gonna be attached to your student accounts, but you can opt out at any time. So that's the key to this program. We're forcing it on no one, but at the same time, when you look at this, I don't know if there's any biology majors, any in the sciences and things like that, when you need a biology book or a lab book or something like that. The $375 flat rate fee is for 12 credits and above, so you have to be full-time. So if you're carrying 18 credits, and the statistics and the research is done, you all are gonna spend, on an average, way more than $375 per semester for your books. So that's going to be an advantage to you already. And then at the same time, if you believe, and you're in a major, and I'll use color as an example, maybe there's a semester that you're not using those books. That's fine, then don't use the service. Just say I don't want them. But at the same time, instead of going down there and seeing that you're gonna spend $600 on books, your max is gonna be $375 that semester. Again, so it's a great opportunity that Barnes & Noble, and they have proven at other college universities, it is a major benefit to the students. Since it will be applied to your, and again, I know that you can do this in various ways, especially if you have refunds, especially through your loans in different financial aid. But once it's posted onto your account, you obviously can use financial aid to help pay for these books. So it makes the process a little easier for you when it's posted onto your account. So that in a nutshell is why I asked to speak today, to let you know that this is something that we're gonna move forward and offer to you all. There is gonna be a lot more information sent to you all. There's gonna be step-by-step instructions of what you can do, what you should do, and if, again, once again, I wanna reemphasize, this isn't something that, you know what, here's a fee, live with it. No, it's if you do not want this service, all you have to say is I'm not interested. And you can opt in and opt out anytime you want. You're gonna have up to a drop to even go through this process. So you're gonna have a way that you could think in your mind, is this gonna be beneficial to me this semester? And if it is, take advantage of it. Again, working with a larger company, obviously with a contracted service like Barnes & Noble, I mean, you're talking about across the country. So they can offer these things at prices that'll make it beneficial to the students. So I expect there might be questions. Yes?
Just to clarify, I think you did. It's per semester is the fee? Like
It is.
if you drop out one semester and
Absolutely.
okay.
And again, you're gonna get all this information, because it even says, you know, and I'll just read this to you, because obviously I've familiarized, and I've been part of this process for the last few months that we were doing it, because it says literally you register for your classes in the bookstore, we'll start preparing your course materials. Your student account will be assessed the semester book fee of $375 for 12 credits and above. And 1 month before classes start, you'll receive an email instructing you how to select your delivery preference, in-store or pickup. An email notification will be sent to you when your order is ready for pickup or it ships. You'll have that before classes start. So that's the key too, you don't have to wait. And digital materials will be delivered to your courses via campus. Now, Mark, as I look at you, I was just in faculty assembly, that's why I was a few minutes late. Question came up about Adobe. So the idea was to take a look at that and ask Barnes & Noble, is that something that will be built into that? Or is it something that can be, or so that, I would, definitely would want to make sure that someone beat me. Sure, one beat me too. The question, the idea is we're gonna at least ask Barnes & Noble if that's possible. So, I think your survey is still important, but I don't know if they consider Adobe an electronic because is it required for all those courses, but the key to that is let's say you're in a communications course and you need Adobe. However, faculty say that is mandatory for that, will it be covered under that $375? That could be a huge benefit to those students. So we're looking into that. I just want to let you know that Adobe was brought up just about 10 minutes ago. So you were mentioned in a very positive way. True Blood said, Paul goes all over this, so that was a good thing. And so Dr. Soto, was on there too, said, definitely look into that.
Just a quick question. Going back to this. So I think this would be a really great benefit, especially how books usually cost. So it's $375, like as the fee. So, gotcha. Well,
And that's each semester.
Each semester, got it.
Right.
Okay. And for example, for me, like you said, COPA, I didn't really use many books during my time.
Right.
Maybe three, I'm not even gonna be completely honest with you.
Right.
And they were outside like actual like books that people wrote, not like textbooks.
Right.
If a student does want to opt out, what would be that process?
Then they can go either individually and do what you do now. You can either go to Barnes and Noble and order it through them, or you can go through outside sources like Amazon or whatever it would be. You still have that ability to do that.
As for like actually opting out of the fee, though, I was wondering like specifics, like who would you email?
It'll be in the instructions. You just, again, like we do with UPass, you're gonna carry a whole list of students, and you're just gonna, I haven't seen it yet, but it's gonna almost be like a virtual check in the box. I am not interested in this process. And then the fee gets removed from your account.
Okay.
And you'll be able to see that live on your student account at any time.
Gotcha.
Now you'll have, as I said, up until at drop, because that's one of the questions, where it says here, can I opt out of the program? It says students have the option to opt out of the Bison Bundle, Book Bundle program each semester during the opt-out window. The opt-out window goes through the at-drop period. Options for purchasing course materials after opting out can be found on the bookstore website. And again, can I opt back in if I change my mind to charge your opt-out status? All you have to do is go back into the program and you click on this link and follow the instructions and you can opt out.
And through this program, you're thinking that it's going to heavily outweigh students buying books and with this fee.
For most majors. Again, and that's why the opt-out had to be there. If it was one of those ones where that we were gonna just say across the blanket, across the 2,300 full-time, odd students that we have, and whether you're COPA or not, I mean, I could imagine that the conservatory students in many cases would be going, that's not us. That's not us. So why would why would we want that? And that's logical, and we obviously discussed that through the process.
Did you consider like removing COPA, or moving them as an opt in?
No, because it was the company, it's all or nothing in a sense.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's just they want your student body, because they don't know. In that way, it would just be, I think to manage, it gets very difficult. And I deal with that, to be honest, I deal with that with student insurance, and there's only certain populations that have to and not. And I just, if hindsight 2020,
Yeah, I had to wait for that every.
yeah, I was gonna say, because you're conservatory, because it's conservatory athletes, international students. And so it's one of those things where I just didn't wanna, I didn't wanna have to go through that process because it just gets muddy. This way, it's easier this way. And it gives you enough time in a sense. Through the ad-drop period is a nice amount of time. If it was like, you gotta tell us a month beforehand, it would be like, what are you talking about? How am I supposed to know? I'm not even sitting in class and again, the faculty are gonna get more engaged obviously through this process because they're gonna have to be very clear what books are necessary for their classes.
Will it be like how, so for the way for like insurance, I get email for that?
Yes.
Will it be like
Yes.
that? Okay.
We were promised, and again, we're living through this, it's gonna be, but we were promised that there were gonna be plenty of notifications, I mean plenty. So that, again, this is the day and age, check your email, that's the way we communicate. Because if I had a dime, I wouldn't be standing here for every time, well, I don't check my email. I'm sorry, that's how we communicate with y'all. So you've gotta just be on top of it. And again, we're gonna work with you as much as we possibly can. It is gonna be a true, I think this is a great benefit for our students. Where money is tight as it ever has been. For students going to college, I think when you weigh the differences, and we've seen the numbers, or we wouldn't have bought into it, in a sense. That students will, in the end, save money, some in a big way. I mean, I've heard, and my son alone, I remember he's a second semester freshman. He was a marine biology major. He has since changed education. Anyway, it didn't take long. He just thought, what am I gonna do? And he had the thought for so many years, but at the same time, his biology book was 200 plus, his lab book was, he had one class, he went to 375 already. I was like, son, hey, mom and dad, can you put $600 into my account? Sure, for one semester of books. And his was about 600 on when it was all said and done, his first semester of school. So that's just, like I said, that alone proved to me that, yeah, they're not lying to us. Yeah, they're not at all.
I know I was focusing a lot on the opt-out, but this does sound very exciting.
It does. Now, the Globe's in the room, I assume. There's gonna be an article in Wednesday's paper, and I know they're doing interviews about this, so, just so that, we're making sure that every, kind of the constituencies, we had a special meeting for staff this morning, faculty assembly got covered, our responsibility was delivered to the Student Government Association.
Would you be able to share with us the data that your team found to be able to?
Yeah, let me take a look. Obviously, I'll go through the business office, but yeah, on Barnes & Noble passed it. They had to sell it per se.
Yes.
So yeah, they have to have the statistics.
Yeah, I think that would be really
Let me do
beneficial
that.
for us. Correct? Wrong?
Yes, sir. I was wondering, how does the program apply for folks that aren't required to work with or recommended or suggested by? Well, that is a great question. Let me find that answer for you, because I don't want to mistake, because I don't think that's on my cheat sheet. Let me see. I will see. This talks about dropping classes and so on. No, I'll have to get that for you. That's a great, again, I would hope, and as I said, we're gonna be asking the faculty to make sure to list all the textbooks that are gonna be used in that class for that semester. So I would hope that they would include that in there. And again, that's why that Adobe question is such an appropriate question. For certain majors at certain times, that's mandatory. So, but I know that's in electronic forms of these books are included in this. So keep that in mind.
Any other questions for Kayla?
As I said, it's good stuff. Like I said, I wouldn't be standing in front of you if I didn't believe in it, because my job is to represent you as students. Believe me, I would have fought on the other end if I thought that this wasn't beneficial to you, just like we fought for UPass for years. And from all indications and from all the numbers that we see, it's working. And I think that the students are enjoying that. And my last pitch is tomorrow night is a championship basketball game. Get your butts to a basketball game. If you haven't gone this year, let's fill that gym. It'll be fun. I mean, you're talking about a team that's 26-2 right now, ranked 15th in the nation. Just blew out the team. Joey, I want to shoot you guys are 28. Sorry, I forgot the last two. I forgot the last two, and I was there for both of them. They're worth watching. I mean, Saturday, I'm in the stands, and our point guard, Jalen Stamps, could not miss a shot. It was so fun that I was just envisioning a whole, just the place being packed, because every time he hit a three, even the small crowd went, boom! I mean, and I can't even imagine what it would have sounded like. And then he started doing the whole, shooting the arrow kind of thing, and I'm like, this is what it's about. Yes?
Well, you need to have professors cancel their 6
I knew there was going to be what's the next that I can't control. If it was student affairs related, darn it, yes, it's canceled. No, I can't do that for you. But if you have the opportunity. And to say, one of your members, and I look at Joey. Joey's been doing an amazing job. I wish he was only a sophomore rather than a senior. He accompanied me in an opportunity that we have. I'm sure you read about it online and stuff like that. Down at the Breaks of Regatta, put some incredible work together. This is like the 15th year. Well, it can't be. It's the 9th year that I've been doing this. 7th personally, the 9th year that we've been sending students down, because it's going to be the 10th year of the anniversary next year. And the work just keeps getting better and better by the students. And I want to applaud Joey again. And then just to see the number of students, and this keeps getting mentioned over and over again, some of you have been involved in this, the amount of production work that comes into all these different athletic events, and even the conservatory events, the things that students are involved in, you all need to be applauded. And that's not just, as a pun in any way or something, but it truly is. Because you all are living what we all envision is that experiential learning, whether it's internships or co-ops, or whether you're just supporting initiatives that are here on this campus. Without you, we can't broadcast and stream games all over the world where the families can watch and get experience. I got a taste of that as an undergrad. I was fortunate that they let us, but they would never let us call the big games. You know, I was calling track meets. You know how hard it is to announce a track meet for like 5 hours, 6 hours, because it's really boring and you gotta keep excitement into this thing. And then I was only broadcasting to a maximum of 5,000 total homes. We're talking millions of people have the opportunity to watch this, of the stuff that you all are producing. So congrats to you all, and keep up the great work. So I can't say enough. Yes.
Also, as you're here, I just want to say thank you for allocating $1,000 for the multicultural festival.
Absolutely.
It was so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge initiative. I want to thank Tess, because having Tess here is going to help us continue to really foster and not only build the foundation that's there, but now build the house. That is these different issues like multicultural and the space that Tess is kind of wrapping her arms around, the fairs and things along those. We have to continue to do this. This is who we are. Again, not to bore you again with, you know, I talk to my son a lot about it, because my whole career has been in higher ed. What's your experience like where you're going? Now, he's in a very rural school in the middle of nowhere. St. Francis is at the top of the mountains, for those of you who know. It's kind of off, the closest Walmart is like a half an hour away, kind of idea. But the idea is that, so what's happening on your campus? Now, he's sitting in the stands with me on Saturday at the basketball game, and he said, God, it's so nice to be somewhere. Now, they're a Division I institution of sports, but said, where people care. Now, he wasn't even, there were hardly any students, where people care about their athletics. And I think it all depends on the student body. You guys are really engaged in all of that. And we have a very, I would say, the reason I've been here 21 years is because of you all. You all make this place what it is. And whether you consider it special, unique, whatever, it is such a neat makeup of students and majors and so on, that you all are different than other institutions. I mean, he says, you know, the stuff that you've been talking about for so many years, he goes, I'm not living that, because that's not who they are. I mean, they're a Catholic institution. It's just a very different kind of setting. Now, it's not good, bad, or in between. It's just at this point in time, it's not what we are. It's not the support, it's not the diversity, it's nothing along those lines of what we see. And that's what I appreciate about it. I always say that campus, everybody looks the same. They really do. I've been to a lot of institutions like where everybody looks the same. I had a chance to visit Taylor University out in the middle of Indiana. It literally, you go outside and there's just thousands of acres of cornfield. That's it. And plopped in the middle of this is this green oasis called Taylor University. If you look at it, very conservative, very, it's religious based, but no particular denomination. And I was there for 2 days, and every student looked identical. I was like, did I see that person, or did they just look like everybody else? And it was, and that's when I came back, and you get that appreciation when you get out there, and you go, wow, we're pretty cool. So we are. So, like I said, let me know if you need anything. As I said, I support you all wholeheartedly. I heard your trip was fun in some way with road closures and kind of going around ways to get to the place.
Yeah, the traveling was a little fun. Yeah, me and Maria had a good time.
I was gonna say, I appreciate Maria showing up
Yeah.
for stepping up and helping with that.
Yeah, Maria was fantastic. It's just, you know, Akron has a lot of more construction than I realized.
And I haven't been in Akron in a long time.
Their campus is beautiful.
Is it?
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, their student government office was beautiful. They had I think they had 40 members. And I was kind of surprised when I heard that, because we have a pretty decent amount of members, and their school's massive.
Oh, it's
Right?
nice.
So that kind of gave me a lot of pride in that. But their facilities, they have massive buildings, so it's really nice to go through it, kind of see they have a student union to it, kind of their students.
Right.
So that was really nice to see all of the equipment they had the robot dog, the Boston Dynamics robot dog walking through. I was like, and being controlled by like 12-year-olds. What is going on? It was going down the steps and everything. It was very cool. Very good. Very good trip.
Hey, we have to call canines. We've got one for our feet, so I'm sorry. Hey, thank you for all the time that you put into SGA. Thank you so much. And thanks for letting me jump on late in this process. But thank you. Yes. 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 No, not right now.
standing committees. Rules committee, is there anything to report?
Got our next meeting on Wednesday, 3:15 in the SGA office. Matt, Robert, and I have started going through the Wednesday in the office every single constitution that there is. There are 79 clubs on Wednesday, we made it through about 15. So any help that we can get on seeing who needs updating, who's good to go, where we can help out, that would be greatly appreciated. So Wednesday at 3:15 at the SGA office, if you're able to make it.
Thank you, Parliamentarian Adams. Finance committee,
Thursday's meeting was crazy, but we did it, and I can't wait for you to see these wacky numbers and to vote. In a minute, that's all.
communications committee, student innovation committee, I know the vice chair is here, is there anything to report?
We talked more about our tabling, we're doing that Friday. I'm not going this live, but I believe Friday 1:30 is the plan. And we'll be doing our meeting at the table where we'll be tabling for students.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion committee,
Meeting on Friday, either 2:30 or 3:30, depending on what you go with you.
Senator Williams,
The meeting on Friday, that be at the same time.
alright, so no meeting?
Meeting.
Alright,
I can make up that.
no meeting in light of multicultural fair, so
You guys are welcome.
please attend that as well. Reports of senators, do any senators have anything to report? If there are no reports of senators, we will move on to old business. We have no old business. So we will move into new business with spring 2 allocations, of which I will yield the floor to Treasurer Carter to explain further.
Thank you. All right, so things got crazy with spring 2. Our submissions for funding requests closed at 11:59 on Wednesday nights, as you may know. And after our Wednesday meeting, we had about $4,000 worth of requests. When we came in for our Thursday meeting, the total requested amount was $29,000. And you may remember that usually we allocate $10,000 per funding period. So I saw this big old total and started to panic a little bit. I rearranged some of our internal budgets and brought up the amount we had available to allocate to $18,000. And Finance Committee met Thursday night. We went through every request, went through every item, took some things out, shrunk some things down, moved some things around. We just so happened to finish on time with a grand total of $17,623.50 allocated. Immediately after the meeting, I realized that I had forgotten the Latinx request, which I had given permission to be emailed to me. So that is tossed in at the bottom there as emergency funding. So our true total is $17,792.60 to student organizations for spring 2 funding. You can kind of see the breakdown there if you have any questions about those amounts. The left-hand column is the amount requested by the group, and the right-hand column is the amount that they received, or will be receiving if you vote them yes. Yeah. A lot of things.
President Palumbo,
I just wanted to add to that, a large chunk of the money that was not allocated was to dance club. They requested $12,000. We allocated roughly $5,793. The majority of that is for food for their banquets, which the Finance Committee decided was more of a necessity, so we went through necessities versus extracurricular things, you would say, and we kind of tried to do that. So whatever they needed, we did that first and then allocated others accordingly.
For that one in particular, since that was such a large request, I got in touch with their treasurer and asked her to make a priority list for me of what was going to be the most important to them versus the things that were just kind of fun and extraneous. Some of the things violated our budget priority guidelines anyway, so that was an easy cut. And then with Kellen's assistance, we were able to get them what they need as opposed to the fluffy extra stuff. So their banquet will go on as planned. Well, I guess not completely as planned because we cannot afford to rent them their venue. But we can at least feed them. They wanted to go from after these.
Alright, is there a motion to approve, $17,792.60, to student organizations? Senator McLaughlin,
I make a motion to approve $17,792.60 for club allocations.
is there a second? Senator Harris seconds, is there any discussion? Senator McLaughlin,
What happened with AAPI? I noticed AI did it.
Yeah, AAPI submitted 3 separate files to me. Some of them were illegible, some of them were repeats. When I looked back at their spring 1 requests, some were like exact duplications of the events, so either the event had already happened, or maybe the event hadn't happened, they wanted to re-request funding, which they don't need to do, because spring 1 is still available to them in spring 2. So, they also, I think, have a collaborative event with Pinnacle Productions that did get funded, so they're not left high and dry. But if I can't read your file, you are just out of luck, so. Yeah, there were actually 3, but, yeah, so that was just a whole mess, and that's what happens when you make a mess.
any further discussion before we take it to a vote? If there is no further discussion, we will take this to a vote. All those in favor of approving allocating $17,792.60 to student organizations, please raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously and the amount approved is allocated. We will now move to the constitution of Point Park students who changed. I just realized that I had forgotten to put up the constitution on the screen, so I will quickly pull it up here and read the organization purpose. I sincerely apologize for that. Usually I'm on top of that before our meetings. So I will read the purpose of the organization, and if there are any questions, you can ask them. This was also emailed out to all of you with the agenda and everything. Their purpose, Article 2, purpose and mission. Section 1, the purpose of this organization shall be to create a community of students dedicated to social justice and activism. This organization shall create events grounded in our principles to achieve larger, local and larger scale outreach all around the earth. Social justice issues such as hosting educated speakers, local volunteering, fundraising, awareness raising, and publicizing regional events that align with our missions. That is their mission statement in their constitution. So everything else in their constitution looks to be fine. They emailed this to me after we adjourned for spring break, so I immediately moved to take it to the floor. As Rules Committee was not meeting as we were out of session. Is there any, if anyone would like to make a motion, such motion will be accepted at this time. Senator McLaughlin,
I make a motion to approve the club constitution for Fair's student training.
all right, is there a second? Senator Rangel seconds. Is there any discussion? Senator McLaughlin,
Are we allowed to, this might be just like this, but I just think, I mentioned, speakers in the Constitution. Does anyone know what they were? I know that there was some senators had tried to get certain people to speak here, so I don't know, is there like a rule preventing speakers for clubs to bring in or anything? Or is that, as far as anyone's aware?
would Keely,
Yeah, there isn't any rules that prohibit clubs bringing in speakers. They just have to work with filling out forms with CES and making sure that we have their guests on the list.
Sort of.
all right. Is there any further discussion? If there is no further discussion, we will take this to a vote. All those in favor of approving the Constitution for Point Park students for change, please raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously and the Constitution is approved. second open floor. Does anyone have anything for second and final open floor? Treasurer Carter?
I just want to make a quick note that because we had to rearrange our internal budget a bunch to make sure we accommodate as much as we could for clubs, make sure you're checking with your committee chairs to see if your budget has changed. It probably has. I will say that our committee spending for the spring so far has been basically none. So your budgets did get cut. So take note of that and make sure you plan accordingly.
Thank you. Is there anything else for our final open floor? Communications Director Bova.
Time to basketball on.
Thank you. Is there anything else? Senator McLaughlin.
When will, all the candidates for elections be announced, or do we have a plan for that yet?
Everything will be finalized by the end of the day today. We will be meeting with all the candidates sometime either this week or next, probably sometime late this week, to discuss the election rules, the guidelines that are to be followed during the election, and the scheduled time and the finalized times for the debates. So that will all be communicated to candidates in due time. Is there anything else for final floor? Maria Lewis?
I just want to mention, I mentioned at our last meeting that I was going to be heading to Atlanta for our Training Technical Institute for the Office of Violence Against Women. And it was very successful. Stephanie Paul, I always get that wrong. Stephanie Stark Polling, also Officer Gray Grover, and Wade Grover, and also Rhonda Fleming from Women's Center and Shelter joined me at that training. And it's all about sustainability at this point, and that's going to be my focus with the Office of Violence Against Women. And how we do that is involving students. So that being said, we have to use the remaining of our $300,000 grant. In a few weeks, we'll have solicitation for another grant cycle. So looking at our funding, I'll have to decide whether or not we request an extension, continuation extension grant, or a new 3-year cycle. But also, because you guys are student groups, which makes sense to me, when you're doing sexual assault awareness, when you're doing those types of activities throughout the year, I can use OVW money to support your activities if it's regarding intimate partner violence, sexual assault, or stalking. So please keep that in mind. We cannot use OVW money for food, but other things like swag items, other things, but always feel free to reach out to me. We'll be making a list. Several people in this room, I don't see Catherine today, but we have our student CCRT, which is made of about 6 or 7 students. Hannah, Drew, are all a part of that, and Catherine. So please keep me in mind, and feel free, as I'm creating the list for next year of activities, I want to make sure our student leaders of those organizations are involved, so we can make that a part of the budget. So feel free at any point to reach out.
Thank you. Is there anything else for final open floor before we move to announcements? If we do not have anything else for final open floor, we move to announcements. As stated earlier, the Multicultural Fest is March 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. Is there anything else you'd like to say on that, DI Chair Brodar?
Show up.
Is that it? I asked if there was something you wanted to say.
No, I said show up.
Oh, okay.
I said show up.
Yes. Be sure if you have the means to attend, try and attend. Shalom's gonna be there. We're gonna have chocolate covered matzah. I know a bunch of other organizations are gonna be there as well. It's always a good time, and yeah, show your support for the multicultural organizations here on campus. Our second announcement is a happy belated birthday to our very own Senator Ranga. Alright, as stated earlier, with the back up, Senator McLaughlin.
I'd like to make a motion to say happy birthday to Senator Randall. As a
Unanimous consent, do we all agree? Alright, happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, CCAC. Yeah, Allegheny, Community College of Allegheny. If you have the means to go, please attend. I hear it's gonna be a whiteout DDA's meeting.
Do you know, is there a shuttle?
Oh, that's what my hand is.
Sorry, there you go, see, look at that.
The last I heard, we're gonna run 6 shuttles. So there will be plenty of continuous loops. So if you don't wanna walk or take the T, and you wanna get door to door, plenty of shuttles will be available.
I've been told it's gonna be a whiteout game. There are gonna be free t-shirts and prize giveaways, I'm sure. So, if you have the means to attend, I highly suggest that you go to the basketball game tomorrow night. D-Halo.
I am sponsoring myself a $100 half-court shot at halftime. You have to sign up and be chosen, but you could walk out with a $100 bill in your hand. So, it's not a bad deal.
Alright, are there any other announcements other than the ones we have on our form, on our slideshow here? Chief Staff Bracy.
I'm very upset about that.
Happy birthday.
I'm very upset about that.
Well,
That's my day.
yeah. It is what it is.
Alright, if there are no further announcements, our next meeting is March 11th, back here in Lawrence Hall 200, and this meeting is adjourned at 4:07 p.m.
I haven't heard that in so long.